What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers, and welcome to Best Bet for UFC Vegas 92. We have Lerone Murphy going against Edson Barboza. We have a 12-fight card here on Saturday. A nice start time at 4 o'clock Eastern time, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, looking forward to these fights. Before we get into it, if you guys could like the video, subscribe here to the channel. We go live every Saturday, 2 hours prior to the prelims. Also, go check these guys out. TB Scouting MMA. He's on Chronic Combat Conversations, and then 138 on YouTube as well. And I'm here with the guys. We'll start with UTB. Looking forward to some UFC Vegas 92.
I'm looking forward to the idea of UFC on a Saturday night, but not necessarily specifically UFC Vegas 92. But I'm sure by the time the fights get going and we get like 3 or 4 WMMA fights in a row, the juices will be cooking, Should be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time for sure. We have the leader, 138 MMA. I feel like he's been the leader all year. So he's holding up. I think he's 7 units ahead of everybody. So
how you doing? Ever since 297.
There you go.
That was it right there.
You looking forward to this card or
more? Love this card. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be fun. Lots of action. It's going to be a great card. I'm actually stoked for it. There's only one fight on the card that I'm kind of like, I don't know what to think about, and that's because it was thrown together like a couple days ago. So,
Yeah, there's a couple fights on this card where I'm like, I don't really care about, Pier, Rodriguez, Ariana, Carnoles. I don't really care about that Tokas fight either. But there are some really good fights on this card. I'm looking forward to that Brahimaj Grimbo fight on the main card. Adrian Jannis, Vanessa, Salvador should be fun. And then Chaos Williams, Carlson Harris. I think there's some really good fights on this card. So let's hit up the chat before we get started. We got Sean, first one in here. Let's go, Brady. What is up? We got Mark, who is my biggest fan. He says, Ducati, Harris, Murphy, parlay, and that is the biggest fan parlay of the night. Best of luck to you, Mark. Let's see what else we got in here. We got Steven saying, come on, boys, help this teacher retire early. I don't know if you're going to retire off of this card, man. But this card's kind of rough. 130 in the house. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We got John in the building. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Let's get this money. Let's get it. Xavier in the chat. We got the Golden Octagon. Oh, yes. Just remember, you can only lose what you bet, but you can win 6,000x what you'd lose. That is completely true. And by the way, Golden Octagon, I was checking out some of your card unraveling videos. I'm kind of getting into the UFC cards, and you do a really good job. So yeah, shout out to you for that. We got Sniper saying, RIP to the You Better Move, You Might Get Knocked Out. Yep. Like I said last night, they got me. They got me. I think they took it off, so I can't use it anymore. So I'm thinking about taking this next week off because we have a week off, and then maybe recording something of my own because they can't flag my own thing. So I'm going to be in the recording studio and hopefully come up with another banger that we can play before the streams. But yeah, we cannot use You Better Move, You Might Get Knocked Out. They said no Moss, Moss, you can't use it anymore, and that's fine. That's fine.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Hey guys, hey Bray, what is up, Elder? What is up? We got Carta, we got Jason. Prize picks. I'm liking the more on Emily Ducati, both the significant strikes and the fantasy score. And then what else do I like? I like the Angela Hill more than the significant strikes. And then there's a couple other ones I like as well. So we got Dipset in the building. You should do an AI Bruce Buffer introducing you. That'd be kind of sick, I think, but I don't know. I don't have the skills to do something like that, though. Maybe I have to hire somebody. All right. Well, with all that out of the way, guys, I say we get into it, and we're going to start with this first fight of the card. We have Emily Ducati going against Vanessa Demopoulos. We have Ducati. She opened up as a minus 175 favorite. She's currently minus 355, and Vanessa Demopoulos is currently a plus 290 underdog. So, like a couple fights on this card, there's a really big favorite here, which makes all these props, pretty juiced. So we'll start with UTB. And by the way, 12 fights, you guys each get 2 passes. TB, are you passing on this first fight of the card? Did you find something you like here?
Yes, I will pass here. I thought, if anything, that there could be some value, on the punching bag Demopoulos, eating a late knockout. But ultimately, it's probably just Ducati by decision. Her minus 3.5 is minus 170. Her unanimous decision is minus 150. I just don't feel good enough, about any of those. And when the knockout eventually doesn't happen, I'll just be sitting here at minus 1 unit. So I'll pass on this fight.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. We got High out in the building. What is Brady cookie? I'm going to cook something up. Cook it up a new intro. Klaus is passing right off the rip. 138. Are you passing, or did you find something you like in this fight?
No, I love this fight. So So I was tempted by the Demopoulos money line because everybody kind of overlooks her, but she's 4-1 in her last 5 fights. Whether you think she wins the fights or not, she's getting the nod, and that's what actually matters. So I'm tempted by it, but I was looking around a little bit right before the stream, and on Bet Online, I saw that you can get over 0.5 takedowns at plus 215 for Demopoulos. I'll take a gamble on the fact that she could get this fight to the mat once over the course of 15 minutes. So we're going to take that over 0.5 takedowns for Demopoulos at plus 215 on Bet Online.
Yeah, that's not a bad line considering she's probably going to attempt like at least 5. You think in this fight?
At least.
Yeah. So
At least.
plus 215. I don't think that's a bad look at all. So 138 taking the more than 0.5 takedowns for Demopoulos on Bet Online, which means she has to get 1 takedown, and then TB is passing on this fight. We got Mark in the building. What is up, Mark? Happy fight day to you as well. Looking forward to some solid fights tonight. Eldar saying Emily's got this. She is the favorite for the reason. I think she does, win, and I think she probably wins by decision. But I was looking at the decision prop, and it's like, minus 170, something like that, which not completely in love with. So minus 200 on some books. Jeez, minus 225 for the decision prop on DraftKings. Wow, you don't see that too often. A minus 225 decision prop. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got Clayton Rodriguez going against Aljamain Lee. We have Clayton Rodriguez opening up minus 105. He's currently minus 149. We have Aljamain Lee opening up as minus 115, currently a plus 129 underdog. 138, we will start with you. What are you liking for this fight?
Unfortunately, I have to pass on this one. I don't feel like I have a good read on Aljamain Lee. He's just too hard to really kind of predict on what he's going to do. And I don't know that Clayton's really lived up to his hype. So I think this is just a pass spot. Don't want to risk anything on it.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way in terms of it's hard to get a read on Aljamain Lee. But yeah, interesting fight for sure. TB, what do you like for this fight?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with the Clayton money line. I have a feeling that, Aljamain Lee, we've seen him use like a punching bag before. He doesn't use his wrestling until it's too late sometimes, or, earlier in his career, he actually used it a little bit more than more recently. So I don't trust him to really push a wrestling pace. I expect his striking defense to be as bad as ever. And Clayton, tough matchup in his move up to 135 in his last fight. And, I don't think the grappling is on the same level here. So I think he'll be able to use his get-ups, his scrambles to stay on the feet. He could catch a sub. He could knock him out 1-2. Or, Aljamain Lee's durable. So I think it's a win any which way type of story for Clayton Rodriguez here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the money line and hope for the best.
All right, looks like I got minus 148 for the Clayton Rodriguez money line.
Not minus 138. Sorry. It's minus 148.
Yeah, minus close enough.
Doing our best. I'm sorry, Tyler.
No, it's all right. If I could trust Aljamain Lee to wrestle, I'd probably bet him here. The fact of the matter is I can't at all.
Yeah.
He's literally not shown the ability to wrestle until the 3rd round starts, which is one of the more interesting strategies I think I've ever seen. He doesn't start using his wrestling till the 3rd round. It's so weird. Feeling a lot of finishes tonight. I hope so. We're in the apex. Hopefully that leads to some violence. Bets are hitting tonight. I feel it. Let's get it. Minus 170 to win by decision in WMA is nonsense. Yeah, it's a wide line for sure. Others saying it's close, but I still pick Aljamain. He's got good ground skills. He does if he uses them. If he uses that wrestling, I think it's very live. I just haven't seen it yet. Okay, we'll move on to the next fight. Both of you guys have used up 1 pass thus far, so you guys have 1 pass left each, and we have another WMMA strawweight fight. It is Pier Rodriguez going against Ariana Carnoles, and this money line's kind of been blown out throughout the week. She opened at minus 185, and she's now a minus 220 favorite. And then as far as Ariana Carnoles, she opened up plus 160. She's now a plus 185 underdog. So, pretty decent sized favorite here in Pier Rodriguez. TB, did you find any way to play this fight?
Yeah, I actually think that both of these women don't necessarily have the greatest defensive skills when it comes to the mat, nor on the feet. Realistically, they harbor a lot of offensive potential and a lot of finishing potential. And I think that their defense liabilities on both sides leaves a big opportunity for a fight doesn't go the distance plus 180 on Caesars. I think, we've seen each of them win by finish or lose by finish so far. And I think that we could have this opportunity again. And I know, like, I'm probably pushing the steering wheel too far away from every WMMA fight goes the distance type of meta, but there's another fight on this card where I think I might have to, have some similar ideas. So Carnoles, Pier, this fight is not going the distance, plus 180, Caesars.
All right. Yeah, I think like 3 out of their 4 combined losses have finished inside the distance, something like that. So yeah, I looked at that too. Didn't quite pull the trigger just because I can't really rely on any of these fighters, but I get the look for sure. 138. What do you like in here?
So I'm gonna feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but Carnoles has the worst takedown defense I think I've ever seen on paper, but she gets back to her feet relatively often. And at plus 110 on BetOnline, you can get over 3.5 takedowns for Rodriguez. And so I guess we're taking the over takedowns again. So over 3.5 takedowns for Rodriguez at plus 110 on BetOnline. I mean, Carnoles just gets taken down anytime somebody wants to take her down. So I feel like regardless of who wins, she's getting taken down at least 4 times. So we're rolling with it.
Okay. I totally agree. On Prize Picks, they have the same thing, 3.5 takedowns, and I like the more there as well, just because, I mean, if Rodriguez really wants to, she could get 15 takedowns here.
Easy.
I mean,
Easy.
Carnoles just can't stuff a takedown. You made up a really good point too. Like when Carnoles gets taken down, she does a really good job of getting back up, which should only lead to more takedowns. I like that a lot. It's plus
there
1.
You go. You can play it
on BetOnline there, and then yeah, I also like it on Prize Picks, has the same line there. All right, so yeah, 138 is taking the more than 3.5 takedowns plus money plus 110, and then TB is taking a shot on that fight doesn't go to decision. You were liking Clayton to win. We'll talk about that Grimbo fight very, very shortly. Paul's saying a lot of people think Carnoles is live, but I could see Pier winning this fight easily. Yeah, I'm picking her to win. I think she has more ways to win. I just don't trust her at this price tag. Gamblestein saying, I bet Carnoles, God help me. God. Oh, gosh. I mean, a WMMA under, it's not the worst bet in the world, I'd say, but I don't know. I don't really want to touch this prop. The Rodriguez is 2.5 on Prize Picks. So, yeah. So all she needs is 3 there. I like that a lot. Pier is better. Agreed. Uncle Weezy liking that fight doesn't go. Should be a banger. Yeah, I had my finger over the trigger of that one all week. Just didn't quite get there. Just don't really want to put money on this fight. But I don't mind that look. All right. Let's keep moving on. We have Abus Magomedov going against Warley Alves. We have Abus Magomedov opening up minus 475. He's currently a minus 250 favorite. Warley Alves opening up plus 375. He's now a plus 210 underdog. Money coming in on Warley Alves throughout the week. Another really sketchy fight, in my opinion, but there are some spots potentially sticking out. We'll start with you, 138. What do you like for this fight here?
So thankfully, it's not another takedown line. I'm going to take Magomedov to win in round number 1. Best I saw was plus 155. But yeah, to win in round number 1, no method, just in round 1.
Nice.
Because that's when he wins.
That's when he wins. Simple as that. I was looking at that same look. TB, what do you like over this fight here?
What if I told you I'm picking what happens if Abus Magomedov doesn't win in the first round? I'm going by God of War Lee Alves to win in general. I think if this fight extends out at all, and Warley's shown, not the ideal durability at times, some poor decision-making at times. Well, why couldn't we say that about Abus, who's gotten knocked out cold in the PFL circuit, also has had some of his own troubles, against some decent competition. But listen, Warley's been around the block, man. I'm betting this post-USADA landscape. He looked in pretty decent, solid shape on the scale, so it's worth a shot. I probably moved the line with my few dollars at plus 240, so I apologize to anyone that didn't get it earlier. Me and my $20 bets, it's going to move the market every time. They just can't help it. But, Warley Alves, let's do it. Let's have a good time.
Looks like plus 235 best price now.
Yeah, now, it's come down. Actually, yeah, that's about where it is now.
35. All right. No, I get it. If he survives that first round, just anytime we've seen Abus out of that first, it just hasn't looked great. So I think both you guys are, onto something here. I was looking at that Magomedov first round prop myself, but ended up passing on it. I don't trust it, dude. Like, I don't know. I have a weird feeling about this guy. Warley is my underdog pick on the card. This think he could pull it off. He could, just has to survive those first 5 minutes. Am I crazy for betting Alves? He lost to really good guys and lost a split decision to Dalby. I think Dalby kills Abus. I don't think you're crazy. I might look it up from like a live betting standpoint. If Alves is still there, still standing in round 2, I want to see what the line is. If it's decent, might pull the trigger. But I think pre-flop, I'm staying away. Jason's going Alves as well to pull off the upset. Alves looked like shit for years at this point. Yeah, I think it's like 1-4 in his last fight, like something terrible. So I agree. JR saying shout out to 138 MMA. Yeah, he's in first place. He's killing it. Had a massive UFC 297, and nobody's been able to touch him since. So shout out to him. Alves was just knocked out, so it's Abus by KO. Alves is at the wrong weight class. Get right for Abus. Yeah, he is. He should be fighting down a weight class, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, moving on to the next fight. We have another massive favorite, another WMMA fight. We have Melissa Gatto going against Tamaris Vidal. And believe it or not, the line opened up at a -110 pick'em and somebody got fired. The line is now -400 for Gatto. And Tamaris Vidal opened up a -110 pick'em, and she's currently a +300 underdog. We will start with a TB. What are you liking for this fight here?
Listen, I watch Melissa Gatto fight. Sometimes she doesn't do exactly what you want her to, but in the Tracy Cortez fight, I see her get a back take on an elite grappler and wrestler like Cortez in 3 separate rounds, and also have an armbar attempt set up. She doesn't necessarily need to do that against Victoria Leonardo, so it never really gets there before she snaps her arm right on the feet, just knocking her around. And then additionally, when she's facing Sajara Eubanks, I mean, that's a high-level grappler. That's the one thing that Eubanks has in her pocket is that high-level black belt. She doesn't have cardio or, any durability, but that's where Gatto found, all that success. Now, in her last fight against Lipsky, that was like the head scratcher. Like, why isn't she wrestling? This is where we see, Lipsky improved so much. But, I mean, she outstruck Lipsky from distance at the end of the day. And we could probably give her the win in that fight. Ultimately here, I think the tractor, she's going to be the most dangerous while she's standing. I mean, she's gigantic. Nobody wants that double knee, flying knee to the liver. Poor Ramona Pasquale. She's probably still telling her friends and family. But it's like if your nickname is the tractor, I mean, it's like it reminds me of Robert Tractor Trailer. They generally don't give you that nickname for flattering reasons. And I envision that she has a ton of trouble on the mat. Like, shout out to Eileen Perez losing by disqualification. I think Gatto is going to be smart enough to get a back take into a rear naked or an arm bar setup and finish by submission. So +220, Melissa Gatto by decision, submission on FanDuel. Let's hit it. I think we got a good chance here.
All right, Gatto sub +220 for TB 138. What are you liking for this fight here?
Well, let me tell you, if I had got the line at -110, the things I would have done to that line, I would have just emptied an account on that thing because Gatto's a pretty good fighter and Vidal's not. She's a bad fighter. She's barely regional level. Like the people she's beaten on the regional level were not good, except for Eileen Perez, and that was because she was just getting beat to death and the ref didn't want to stop the fight, and Perez had already hit her with everything she could, so she decided to do some illegal moves. Vidal's not that good, okay? I do think that Vidal's size is going to help her survive a little while. And so because of that, I was toying around with the over takedown lines again. Gosh, I got to stay away from these, but I did it again. Over 1.5 takedowns on BetOnline is +110 for Gatto. I think what happens is we get Gatto getting a takedown in the first round, midway through the round or so. Vidal either gets back to her feet or survives the round. We get into the second, and that's where Gatto gets her to the ground and probably subs her. But just in case she doesn't, I'll take the safety on the over 1.5 takedowns for Gatto at +110 on BetOnline.
All right, another takedown prop.
It's the last one, I promise.
Oh, all good. I mean, you can bet as many as you want. You can bet 10 if you want. So, yeah, over 1.5 takedowns +110. She was 0 for 7 against Lipsky, which, isn't the best look. But Lipsky's takedown defense, has massively improved. And at least she went out there and attempted to take. If she attempts 7 here, I think she gets, a couple for sure. Vidal is going to look like Sean Strickland versus Adesanya. Vidal by decision. Gosh.
If that happens, we got to do something nice for Jason Waterfalls.
Oh my goodness.
She looks like Sean Strickland. I don't know. That'd be shocking. Vidal is terrible. Yeah, she's not that great. Uncle Weezy will, I think, be on for the next card, I think, for UFC 302. He was on, I think, like last week. So we switch it. We have 10 different guys to come on here. 138 with the solid picks. Yep, I'm liking it. Gatto is more skilled. She might even finish her. I think more skilled is kind of an understatement here. The only thing that worries me is like the size. But even then, like they're kind of like similar in height, I think.
Yeah, height's the same. It's just like the build.
Yeah. Tamaris is definitely a lot thicker than Gatto, that's for sure. But that's bold. Probably talking about that like Sean. Yeah, I mean Tamaris Vidal will never look like Sean Strickland. That is crazy. Fight to not go the distance. What is that? Fight doesn't go the distance. Like a pick'em -110, -105. Yeah, I think Gatto should finish her. The only thing I don't know if Vidal has much finishing upside. I struggle to see Vidal finishing anybody not named Tamaris Vidal, and even that was kind of like a fluke. Let's see. Y'all tripping. Vidal would beat my A, so I know she's gonna beat up Gatto. All right, Beaver Covington. Moving on to the next fight, we have Omar Sy going against George Tokas. We have Omar, who is -550. Tokas, who is +400. We have a short notice fight. Tokas took this fight on like 3 days notice. And he came in, he made weight, which was awesome because he talked about how he was, he flew to like Dubai or something, and then had to come all the way back to the U.S. and was just traveling all around on a plane for hours. And he made weight, so that's good on him. But has a tough matchup here. We'll start with you, 130. Anything sticking out for this fight?
Yeah, ultimately it's a pass. There's too many unknowns. Tokos, George, he took this fight, like you said, on like 3 days notice. So we don't really know what version of him is going to show up. We haven't seen Sy in the UFC at all. This is his debut. There's not a ton of really like quality opponents that he's fought. So I don't really know how to gauge how he's going to do here. George is a pretty good grappler, and I know that Sy is predominantly a grappler. George has some pretty heavy hands. He also doesn't have a chin, but he has pretty heavy hands. There's just too many red flags and unknowns, so it's just a total pass.
Yeah, I think I'm passing it out. Do they even have props out for this fight? It looks like FanDuel didn't even get props out.
DraftKings got him out though.
DraftKings did. Okay, I'll have to take a look. So they have like the fight doesn't go at -450. Side decision +450. Side KO +100. Yeah, all this looks like a bunch of crap, to be honest. TB, are you liking anything for this fight here?
No, I smell disappointment. It reeks of it in this fight. I feel like Omar, the idea that he's supposed to be like this high-level grappler and wrestler, and I watched this guy on his back in multiple fights on the regional scene, and I see him get these reversals that, Georgie boy, Tuco, it might be Tuco time if we're not careful. And the other way that I could see it happening is, Omar Sy also has 2 decisions on the regional scene. Say this thing gets real sloppy, and all of a sudden we're looking at, fight doesn't go at -450, and you're sitting there like, why is this fight, going? So I'm just going to pass here. There's multiple ways that we could be disappointed, so I'll find a way to do it on my own, but I'm not going to recommend anything to you guys.
Yeah, I'm passing on it too. I actually really liked Sy against his previous opponent, Tricoli, but this is a completely different matchup and one that I'm staying away from.
Yeah.
Let's see what you guys got in the chat for this one. Pick'em saying the under 1.5. It's I think it's juiced -130. Omar Sy all day inside the distance. Is Gatto a good pivot off of Jannis and DK? I don't mind Gatto. She's not my favorite play this week, but I don't mind her. I think she can go out there, put up a decent score. Do you guys think Murphy will land over 80 significant strikes? I would lean so. You guys have any thoughts?
Unless he gets caught early or something. But,
yeah.
if it goes to decision and, whatever, I think it's probably a decent number of, for output, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. The only thing Vidal is going to beat is the street after she gets cut from the UFC. Goodness. I'm not backing Jannis. He's just not that guy. I'm sorry, but he's not. Tokas, KO round 1 +1600. I guess that would be his path.
He's totally live.
Yeah, does Tokas have cardio? Maybe not in like 2 days' notice, but we'll see. Under 1.5, -145. I like it because Tokas has only fought bums. This ain't the week to fade Jannis. I'd agree with that. Salvador is an in-your-face fighter. And then we have MMA math like in the over 1.5. I would lean over, but I would not. It would be kind of a sweat. Jannis is not a bum. Jannis is mid. Why is everybody attacking Adrian Jannis? What did he do? Let's see here. Fraud. Salvador is going to get punched in his face and KO'd while attempting a soccer kick. I could see it. All right. So a lot of interest in that Jannis fight. We will get there in a couple fights, guys. All right. But first, we have Tom Nolan going against Victor Martinez, another really big favorite here in Tom Nolan. He opened up as a minus 425 favorite. He's currently minus 450. Victor Martinez opened up plus 355. He's currently plus 350. Interesting fight here. We'll start with 138. You find a way to, well, you had to find a way because you used up both your passes, but what do you got on this fight?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. So we're going to take the slight plus money. I'm trying to hit all my bets as plus money here, which is obviously pretty risky, but we're going to go for it. We're going Nolan in round 1 on Betway. You can get it at plus 120. No method, just in round 1. I feel like that's most of the time where he's winning, so we're going to take a shot at that.
Hit it times 2. Hit it times 2. That was my exact play.
Easy.
From Tyler to Tyler.
Yep.
Beautiful thing.
Same page.
There we go. And I'd agree as well. So TB taking the round 1, no method, just round 1, right?
That was exactly it. I have it out on my Bet MMA. I texted Guru about it earlier. Like it's just if you're not getting them round 1, you're not feeling good about it. So
yeah, no, I feel it. And I think round 1 is definitely the most likely scenario here. All right, so both round 1 for these guys, and I'm thinking round 1 myself. If not round 1, it's probably round 2, but round 1 seems like the way to go. Any thoughts on the Fury fight? I haven't looked into it at all.
I got Usyk.
You got Usyk? Yeah, I don't know. When is that fight? Is it tonight after the fight?
Yeah. No, it's I think it's at a much earlier time because it's in like Saudi or something like that.
Dang it! I like when there's boxing on like after the fights, but I hate when it's on during. Gotta pick one or the other. Let's see. All 3. I'm hitting that one. You're liking the Nolan round 1. Sean said this is my most confident pick. The UFC is setting this up for Nolan. Yeah, I mean, if Nolan doesn't win this fight, I don't think he's ever winning a fight in the UFC. Like this is like the easiest matchup you can possibly ask for, in my opinion. Victor Martinez doesn't know what a combination is and uses his head movement to get hit. Tom Nolan by finish. That is actually correct. Biggest fraud in heavyweight boxing. You're talking about Fury? No, he's not the biggest fraud. Come on. Usyk for Gamblestein. I don't even like the job either. What job? Nobody cares about boxing.
There you go. Now somebody said it.
Yes.
I mean,
Nobody cares.
I'll watch it for fun, but I'm not gonna, pick boxing over UFC. Uncle Lee is saying Victor Martinez is going to run into a Dixall. Yeah, he ran into one against Jordan Levitt, so I think there's a good chance he runs into one here against Tom Nolan. All right, moving on to the next fight. I can't back Nolan after he got flatlined by Moda. What's worse, getting flatlined by Moda or getting flatlined by Jordan Levitt? I'll leave you guys with that. My bad. You got the chat's kind of blowing up. All right, moving on.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah. To the next Angela Hill going against Luana Pinheiro. We have Angela Hill opening up a pick'em minus 110. She's currently minus 144. Luana Pinheiro opened up a pick'em minus 110, currently plus 124. We'll start with UTB. What are you liking for this fight?
Give me Luana Pinheiro. I think she's gonna right the wrongs of Mateusz Nicolau. Ultimately, I think what happens here is Angela Hill. She needs like a little bit of breathing room, and I think that Pinheiro, like her aggression and her power, the judo throws, it might slow down by the time we're getting to round 3. I just don't think Angela Hill has ever like significantly finished anybody to make me feel like she's not losing to 29-28 and split decision with one scorecard going to Hill, and then she runs to Twitter and cries about the decision. So I got Pinheiro at plus 130, or I think it was plus 131 on, I don't know, but wherever is the best number that you're seeing on the screen right here. I think there's a 130 over there, so I'll take that.
All right.
Let's get Luana.
You had to add in that she runs to Twitter and cries about the decision.
Yeah.
You're so right. It's happened.
I'm sorry. She runs to X. Now she'll run to X. I apologize.
So Pinheiro money line plus 130 for TB. And then maybe we see Angela Hill on X tonight complaining. 138. What do you like for this fight here?
All right. So So here's the issue, right? Because everybody's going to tell you the same thing, that if you're on the Hill side, you have to bet her after round 1. But unfortunately, that's not how this show works, because I can't just say I'm going to put a contingency bet in that if the fight ends or doesn't end in round 1, then I'll be placing a bet. That's not how this works, unless, of course, it is, but I don't think it is. So because of that, I do think Hill's probably going to get a pretty close decision win, because the judges seem to like erase their previous stuff they had written down on their scorecards if the third round is heavily in favor of one other fighter. And they just are like, oh, no, we're going to give them round 2 as well, regardless of what happened in that round. So I think what I'm going to do is go Angela Hill by decision, and I've got that at plus 100 on BetOnline. I understand I'd get a better money line after round 1 most likely, but that's just not how it works. So we're going to sound like a square, and we're going to take Hill by decision plus 100.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm going to look to maybe live bet Hill after round 1 myself, but pre-flop, I don't know. I think it could be like a split decision type fight where Pinero wins that first, Hill wins that third, and then it all comes down to what the crooked, corrupt, blind judges see in the second round. So, yeah, I think it could be fairly close here. Paul liking the Pinero finish only. Pinero has sus acne on her chest, roids. I'm not sure. Second round winner wins this fight. I would tend to agree with that. Martinez fluked his contender fight after his opponent hurt his arm, then got knocked out by Jordan Levitt. Enough said. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you just said there. I have Pinero to pull off the upset. I think Pinero wins the first 2 rounds. Yeah, I think she win like the first round and a half, but I think Hill wins that last round and a half. So Hill just punches there. No, she doesn't. Hill's actually a decent striker. Rumor has it this is Hill's last fight. I did not hear that. She is 39, but I don't know. I don't see Hill retiring anytime soon. I think she just had a nice winner last fight against Denise Gomes. So, but yeah, that would be interesting if it was. Okay, moving on to the next fight. We have Adrian Yanez going against Vinicius Salvador. This was the talk in the town in the chat. We got Adrian Yanez, massive favorite here. Opened up minus 245. He's now minus 415. Vinicius Salvador opened up plus 210. He's now plus 345. We'll start with you, 138. What are you liking for this fight here?
So I take back what I said earlier. This is my only bet that's not plus money, unfortunately. But I'm going to take Yanez by KO TKO at minus 120 on Pinnacle. Yeah, there's just not a good way to play this that gets you plus money unless you're getting just really, really greedy. I feel like Yanez is the side, though. I don't trust Salvador. I don't think he's that good. So Adrian's got to get it done. And if he doesn't, that's a big problem. So we're taking him KO TKO minus 120.
Yeah, I was feeling the same way. Like I like that KO as well, and I wanted to like pair it with a round, but I think it could be in any round. I think it could be in round 1. I think it could be in round 2 or round 3. So I just went with inside the distance myself. Loner says I'm hard. Do you all care? I don't, but maybe someone else in the chat does.
I'm just glad it still works, man. Good job.
I certainly don't care about something like that. Fraud check time. I mean, I don't know. He already lost in his last 2 fights. I think the fraud check already happened if it did at all. Let's see. Can't keep coasting on a Tony Kelly KO. Tony Kelly would wreck Vinicius Salvador, in my opinion. Yanez via ass shaving. Yep. Yanez is Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Soccer kick Salvador. All right, TB. What are you liking for this fight here? Are you fading the narrative? A lot of people think Adrian Yanez goes out there, gets back on track. You fading the narrative here? What are you thinking?
No, I'm actually not. I think Salvador really sucks. Of his three finish losses, all 3 of them come in the first 2 rounds. So I got Yanez by round 1, round 2, knockout. What did I write this number down? It was on FanDuel. And it's plus 125. So I think if we're in round 3, we're cruising to a decision most likely, and soccer kicking behind our back, smiling our way along with Vinicius Salvador. But I don't think he's used to being the much bigger guy. And I know he might have a little bit of height. He doesn't have any reach here. And I don't think kicking the calf kicks behind your back aren't as effective as Jonathan Martinez calf kicks. So I think Yanez is going to be fine. He's going to be able to land the counters because Salvador's just sloppy. And when he's showboating and doing his dumb stuff, Yanez, he already showed Tony Kelly what happens when you act like a dumbass in the octagon with him. So I feel like this is much more on the Tony Kelly scale of fighters than it is the Rob Font or Jonathan Martinez co-main event in Brazil on a pay-per-view type of matchup. Like, let's be real here. Vinicius Salvador is being punished for his transgressions for missing weight at 125, and he has to go up and fight their old, he's not maybe the shiny toy, but Jannis is still one of Andy's favorite play toys, okay? Like, he hasn't been thrown to the garbage yet. So we got Jannis round 1-2 knockout plus 125.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just played the answer of the distance. I was looking, is it round 1, 2? Is it round 2, 3? Maybe it's just round 2. I think it might just be round 2. I don't know, but it could come in any round, I think. The way that Salvador was talking, so he was talking about he wants to go out there and knock out Jannis in the first round. If he tries to do that, he's probably getting knocked out in the first round himself. So maybe it's in round 1. I don't know, but I think like the knockout and the answer of the distance, probably the best way to go for me. Let's see. Jannis ain't KOing anybody. He has multiple knockouts in the UFC. The only person he did not knock out was Davey Grant.
Come on, boss.
Jannis by decision with a knockdown. Could knock him down a couple times. Got my big one on Grimbo. Give me peace of mind. My guys, I do not have a bet on this fight, but maybe these guys will give you some peace of mind. Don't forget, Randy Costa was piecing up Jannis before he gassed. Randy Costa is really good in the first 3 minutes of fights. Like, really, really good and dangerous. Jannis versus Cody Garbrandt next. Weren't they scheduled to fight, or am I thinking of something else? I think they might have been scheduled to fight, but that'd be an interesting fight. Salvador is... Yeah, that did surprise me a little bit. Salvador is a guy that's coming up from flyweight recently, but Salvador has fought at bantamweight before. We got Jacob in the building saying, "Be back later, Brady." Okay, Jacob, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we'll just move on to the people's main event. We have Themba Grimbo going against Ramiz Brahimaj. This is the Twitter Civil War of the week. We always have one each week, so this is a very interesting line. So Grimbo opened up minus 260, and I was looking at the lines Sunday morning, and Themba was like minus 225. And then that evening, he went to minus 145. And since then, the lines kind of stayed there the entire week. So he's now minus 145. And then Ramiz Brahimaj opened up plus 220. He was sitting around plus 175 Sunday morning. And then Sunday evening rolled around to like plus 125. And it's been there all week. So there's been some money coming in on Brahimaj earlier in the week, but since then, this line's kind of stayed the same. I think a lot of people on both sides here, and that's kind of the case why. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this fight. We'll start with you, TB. What do you like in here?
I got Themba money line. I'm having a tough time differentiating, like with the Ramiz 26-month layoff, brachial plexus injury at spinal injury where he was unable to lift more than 5 pounds, like of a resistance band for over 2 months. Your body, listen, I work at a physical therapy clinic. I do a lot of hands-on work with people that have been in car accidents, spinal injuries at any level. And like, you're just trying to make it as good as possible. Like, he never had this corrected surgically. It's not like an Aljamain Sterling where like they fix the herniation in the neck. This is something that he rehabbed over time in physical therapy. And now, with that, where's your timing at? Are you going to be willing to wrestle and get in there and like really get in deep on a much bigger, and I don't know if he's stronger or not, but he's a much bigger athlete in Themba Grimbo. Now, did I kind of try to fade him in his last fight with Pete Rodriguez tongue in cheek? Maybe I did, but damn it, I feel like I got to stop sipping some of the haterade sometimes. Like, there's a reason why I know like maybe he's a bit of a scammer. There's all this stuff, but like, he's getting a lot more money than he used to, and he's in a much more comfortable situation to train than he used to be. But I think it's from like a homeless person, like living out of the gym and like not being able to afford food versus like this guy's probably getting some good supplements right now, if I had to guess. If you're hanging out with The Rock, I got to have a couple of thoughts here and there. And ultimately, I think his cardio looked a bit better in that Scramble Fest versus Sato than it did on his quick debut versus Fletcher. He said he was sick in that fight. He comes out, he knocks out Pete Rodriguez. And, like, I just don't know if he's going to finish Ramiz Brahimaj. And I got to give Guru credit here because he's been fighting me all week, my co-host. It's like, what makes you think that Themba's like this awesome finisher now? And you know what? Like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know that he is, but I also don't know how durable Ramiz is following this 26-month escapade of his life. So I got to take Themba here. I feel like the money line at we're getting minus 138 on a book. I don't know if that's real. If you got to give me minus 145, I'll take it. But I got to go money line because I'm not sure if he's finishing, if he's winning by decision, whatever. I don't think Ramiz is winning this fight outside of the round one submission. And if you want to hedge your Themba bet with a plus 450, then go ahead. it's how 9 out of the 10 wins for Ramiz have come. And if you want to do round 1, round 2 sub, you can still get somewhere close to that number for a hedge. I don't envision it happening that way. But listen, crazier things have happened. Tampa money line, whatever best price you could give me there is appreciated.
Like minus 138.
Yeah, sounds good. I love it.
Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, that's a good point you brought up about the whole, like spine injury thing. Did he really say he couldn't lift 5 pounds?
Yes. Yeah, shout out to Alex B. Hunin. Awesome interview on the spinal injury. It was on, I forget if he's Cage Side Press or I think that's where Alex is at now, but he had the article out there available to read. I'll send it out to you, Brady, so you can get a look at it.
Gee, and I saw a little bit. I saw like a little bit of the article, but I didn't see the 5 pound part. That's kind of what put me off at this fight. I was looking at Ramiz at plus 175. Then I saw that, and it's like, 2-year layoff, spine injury. He lost to Court McGee. People are saying that he lost to Court McGee. He didn't lose. He got dominant. I don't know.
He got dropped in round 1 versus Court McGee. My God.
Yeah, I thought I had Court McGee by decision in that fight. I thought Court was about to finish. I was like, no, Court. Come on. You don't finish anybody. Don't start now. 138. What are you liking in this fight here?
Yeah, so a lot of what TB said is kind of where I'm thinking, but I've got a little bit different. And it definitely to echo what he said. The spinal injury, after over 2 years off, I can't imagine him coming back looking great. He's never had good cardio, though. Right? He always pretty much done after that first round. That's about it. So with that, I think Grimbo gets the KO or TKO at plus 300 is what I saw on BetOnline, because I don't think he's going to sub Brahimaj. Even a tired Brahimaj is probably going to have good enough submission defense that Grimbo's not going to sub him. But it's like I was telling some guys yesterday when we were training, is that like sometimes a hammer isn't the best tool for a job, but it'll still get the job done. For example, if you've got a screw that you need to get out, you hit it hard enough with that hammer, screw's coming out. And I think that's kind of what Grimbo is going to do here, is just he's just going to try to treat everything like the hammer is the only tool that he has. And I think it's going to be enough to get a tired Brahimaj out of there after he fails a few, attempts at a takedown, or even gets a takedown but doesn't get the sub. And I think Grimbo is going to get him, especially with the bad spinal injury. Say he shoots a takedown, it gets it stuffed. Sometimes when you shoot a takedown and it gets stuffed, your spine gets kind of, twisted a little bit. Believe me, I've been there plenty of times. Then you feel a little something in your back. All of a sudden, you're worried about it. Next thing you know, you're a sitting duck. Garimbo's probably getting the knockout. So I'm taking Grimbo, knockout, plus 300. I saw it on BetOnline. If there's a better one, I'll take that too.
All right. Grimbo KO plus 300. And now I'm just looking like the Grimbo KO 2-3 could be interesting as well, because I think if it does happen, it happens after Ramiz kind of gasses out. So 2-3 KO could be interesting. But, yeah, I'll have to see. All right, let's see what we got in the chat here. Themba much bigger at face-offs. Yep, he is. Themba my only substantial bet on this card, minus 135, 2 units, and plus 320 for the KO, maybe. What is Themba's ceiling? I'm not sure, but I think he is improving rapidly. I think he's a lot better than he was in that Fletcher fight and even outside the UFC. Themba by ground and pound, KO kind of seen it the same as 138. Ramiz's got this. He's such a strong grappler. We'll sub him early. I think that's his path, is getting subbed early there. Ramiz put on a bit of muscle, so he'll definitely gas. His cardio was bad before you. I'm not a big fan of the cardio. They are trying to gift Themba a win here. To be honest, we shall see. Long layoff means what? What does it mean? It can mean a lot of things. Oh, Themba decision plus 320. Okay, I got you. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. We have 2 fights left with the co-main event. Chaos Williams going against Carlston Harris. We have Chaos Williams opening up plus 130. He's now minus 124. And then Carlston Harris opening up plus or minus 150. He's now plus 104. We will start with you, TB. What are you liking for this fight here?
I'm going with the Anaconda don't want none. Unless you got subs on. So we're Carlston Harris, I think he's got more ways to win here. Shout out once again to my co-host, the Guru, for finding out. Chaos Williams has been putting in those miles on the treadmill of Planet Fitness to prepare for this camp. He generally fights like once a year in May, and it feels like he's been just looking less and less spectacular as he turns into the Ally Aquinta of the of MMA at this stage. Like Al retired. Someone else has got to be the real estate agent and posted about big financial schemes on Instagram now. So Chaos Williams took up that idea. Now, how this fight breaks down from a technical standpoint, Chaos is going to try to blitz the pocket or stay at distance and land calf kicks from range. It's kind of what he does. And as he comes in from distance, his chin is wide open to being clipped on a counter. It's what Rolando Bedoya is doing all fight. But the aggression, the being on the front foot, the calf kicks adding up, it gets Chaos the sketchy decision win. But against Carlson, I think that those counter hooks, they come from crazy angles and it's really sketchy, but that's what he was doing really well against Jared Gooden. Mix in the wrestling, mix in the grappling. I don't think Chaos is like a takedown top control threat like a Jeremiah Wells, or I think Jeremiah is a bit even more of a freak athlete and more explosive and unpredictable than the type of striking that Chaos brings. I think Chaos is a bit more under control, and I think Harris has shown that, like, listen, if Shavkat's going to hit you with a spinning heel kick or spinning heel hook, I mean, listen, sometimes life happens, or, you know, on the regional scene, you're facing a really good fighter at that stage. And, you know, sometimes it happens. I don't think Chaos is that layered of a striker offensively. I think he leaves a ton of holes on the defensive side. So I'm taking the dog shot. Carlson Harris. I got it at like a plus 115 earlier in the week, but I will be very happy to still take that plus 110 on the board there.
All right. Plus 110 for Carlston Harris. 138. What do you like for this fight here?
Wow, that line has even moved since like an hour ago. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, TV said it. Carlston Harris is a better fighter here. I have no idea why he's the underdog. Yeah, I'm taking Carlston Harris money line. I feel like that was my first play I made on this card when I noticed it, that he was the underdog, and I'm all over it. I think that should be. I mean, this is a step down in competition for Carlston Harris, honestly. I don't think Chaos Williams is bad. But Harris has been fighting some pretty darn good guys in the division. I mean, sure, he lost to Shavkat, but what does Shavkat do to Chaos Williams? Probably about the same thing, right? Yeah, Carlston Harris, easy money line play. I'll take the 110 then.
All right, both guys going with the Carlston Harris money line at plus 110. And yeah, TB, I saw the same thing. Chaos Williams was on a treadmill at Planet Fitness with like a 45-pound weight. I don't know what he was doing with that, but I don't know.
He's an ox, man. I don't know. I sent you in the DMs the Ramiz Brahimaj 3-paragraph red flag series. So
cool. Appreciate that. I'll check it out. Appreciate it. Let's see what we got in the chat. For the record, he is not Chaos. Okay, so Chaos Alpha is not Chaos Williams. Appreciate that. Harris has fought the way better. I mean, he's fought Shavkat. I'm sorry, but I'll take the guy that looks like he's not going to fall over with every punch. Williams is the pick. Eru's saying I like Chaos here, but I'm skeptical. I like the over 1.5, though. Thoughts on that? The over 1.5 is like minus 150. Any thoughts on that, guys?
I wouldn't play it with a minus in front of it. Let's put it that way. But I do think it goes over 1.5.
Yeah, I think it could go over 1.5 as well. But it could also end early. I mean, both these guys, Harris has a good submission game and Williams has power. Chaos Williams, people sleeping on, he will let the doctor wake them up. We shall see. But we have one more fight. It is the main event. Before we get into it, if you guys could, like the video. Let's get those likes up. Also, subscribe here to the channel. We go live every Saturday for some Best Bet. We have a week off next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks for UFC 302, which is a card I'm really looking forward to. And go check these guys out. Go subscribe to these guys. Chronic Combat Conversations for TB, and then 138 for 138 on YouTube. So check them out. All right, main event time. We have Lerone Murphy going against Edson Barboza. Lerone Murphy opening up minus 116, currently a minus 159 favorite. Edson Barboza opening up minus 104, currently a plus 139 underdog. We will start with you, 138. What are you liking for the main event here?
I got to take Barboza at plus money. Looks like Pinnacle has him at plus 145 there, so we'll stick with that. But I think Barboza at plus money is a play. I think both fighters have passed to victory. I think it's going to be a close, competitive fight. If there's a knockout, I mean, it could come from either side. Barboza's durability is probably less than Murphy, but Barboza also hits like a truck, so he could probably knock out Murphy. I feel like a decision could go either way. The veteran savvy of Barboza as at an underdog, especially with the whole. This is something I've noticed, and this I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but like since they're in the post USADA era, just recently. I mean, like the older Brazilians specifically have looked really, really good. Not just like every older fighter has looked good, because we saw a few that did not. But the older Brazilians have looked fantastic, and pretty sure Barboza is Brazilian. So I'm going to take him at the money line. That plus 145 on Pinnacle looks fantastic.
All right. On the Barboza side is 138. TB, what are you liking for this fight here?
Man, ×2 for the second time. ×2. Edson Barboza here. I did the similar thing. I took him a little earlier in the week on Caesars. Did it with a little bonus bet action, some rewards money. You know, sometimes you got to take advantage. But what I feel good about is I think he's the more varied striker with higher output. I think Lerone could try to mix up and get some wrestling here. He might be the faster guy in the first round, but he can't maintain a high output from distance, or he just doesn't try to. And I think that Edson, he does a really great job, not just landing kicks like to the legs or kicks to the body, but his boxing combinations in the clinch and in tight quarters to the body. I think that attritional damage over time, I'm not sure, like Lerone Murphy, like when he faced Douglas Silva de Andrade, like that was close, and he's eating a lot of damage to the body, to the legs. And I think we see that even Andrade is able to hurt him at a point with a nice headshot. I think Barboza is going to be able to put on a much better version of that Andrade performance, minus like the wrestling aspect of it. Because if there was a clear path to beating Lerone Murphy, it's the offensive wrestling. But ultimately, I think you can still do it here. And we see Barboza land how many strikes in his last matchup against Sadiq Yusuf? I've never seen Lerone Murphy even land 100 strikes in a UFC contest. And going 5 rounds here, I think Barboza is going to land the higher output. I think he could win by finish, but I mean, this guy also got shot in the face and survived. So maybe it is a decision, you know what I mean? And plus money for the fight to go the distance. Shout out once again to my co-host, the Guru. That's a great idea too, but I'll take the Barboza money here.
All right, both guys going with Barboza money line plus 145. Post USADA, Barboza at plus money is wild. He's on that secret juice. Barboza is the year of 2024. The title run starts now. Barboza is probably the best underdog on the card. Took us by sub plus 1,600. I don't know.
That's not bad.
16-1 for a sub prop.
Dude can grapple.
Barboza rounds 4-5 decision. Let's go. Victor only has a 9% betting handle. Might be the parlay buster low key. Yeah, one of these guys probably bust the parlays this week. We'll see. And Eric put his life savings on Barboza. Oh boy, best of luck to you. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to go through the bets, make sure we have everything correct here, and then these guys are going to give their best bet for the entire card. If they hit the best bet, their profit is going to double. So say, for example, TB says, my best bet is Melissa Gatto by sub at plus 220. Not only will he get the plus 2.2 units, he will get plus 4.4 units. So we will start with TB. He is passing on the Ducote fight. He's taken Clayton Rodriguez money line minus 148. He's taken the Rodriguez Carnoles fight, doesn't decision plus 180. Warley Alves money line plus 235. Gatto by sub plus 220. Passing on the side fight, he's taking Nolan round 1 plus 120. Pinero money line plus 130. Jannis Gale rounds 1 or 2 plus 125. He has the Grimbo money line minus 138. Carlston Harris money line plus 110. And then Barboza money line plus 145. TB, does all that look correct? And if so, what is your best bet for the entire card?
It sounds good, and you already told the people what my best bet was. It was Gatto sub at plus 220.
All right. There we go. I nailed it. All right. And then 138, he's taken the Demopoulos over 0.5 takedowns plus 215. Passing on the Rodriguez fight, he is taking the Pier Rodriguez over 3.5 takedowns plus 110. He's taken Magomedov round 1 plus 155. The Gatto over 1.5 takedowns plus 110. Passing on the side fight, he's taken Nolan round 1 plus 120. Angela Hill decision plus 100. Jannis KO minus 120. Grimbo KO plus 300. Carlston Harris money line plus 110. And then Barboza money line plus 145. 138. Does all that look correct? And if so, what do you have for your best bet for this card?
Looks good. I do have a question about the best bet. I think I know how this works, but do you treat it like a boosted play? So you're still playing 1 unit to win and then just doubles the whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I wasn't sure if it was like we're playing 2 units, because if that's the case, I'm definitely just going to pick the biggest one. So we're going to go with Garimbo KO at plus 300.
right.
Since the loss is the same. So
Grimbo KO at plus 300, which if he gets the KO, it'll be 6 units, and he'll continue his strong lead there. All right, so there we guys have it. Those are all the bets. Going to kick it around here. TB, let the people know where they can find you.
Chronic Combat Conversations, Triple C podcast. We're out here. Best bets, best guests, always free picks. Make sure you're joining the show every Wednesday live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We love to have a great time. We bring on amazing people that give us great analysis. We're not necessarily pro bettors. We're never going to ask you for any money unless you decided you wanted to give it to us. But realistically, we're just here to have a great time week by week. I make up horrible nicknames. Guru hates me for it. And if you want to, shame the TB for some terrible nicknames, just come on down. Let's have a good time.
There we go. Check them out. And then 138, let the people know where they can find you.
Well, you guys can find me at the top of the leaderboard here on Best Bet. I'm going to probably be there the rest of the season. So, and I'm going to mention that. So, like, a lot of people keep being like, oh, yeah, 138 is only up there because of its first card. But, I hit more than one bet, guys. I promise you I did. That bet that brought me up a bunch was only like 19 units, and I'm in the 20s. So, give me a break, all right? So we're gonna keep adding to it. So I'll be there. But you can find me 138 MMA pretty much everywhere. The only thing different is on Instagram. There's a little underscore between the numbers and the letters. Otherwise, it's the same. It's pretty easy. 3 numbers, 3 letters. You know where to find me. And like I said, just look at the top of the leaderboard. You see it there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, nobody's been able to catch you yet. Somebody is getting close. I think it's
Guru.
Guru hit a nice big plus
Max
money.
Holloway 345 KO plus 1200. And he made it his best bet too. That was crazy.
That was a great call. So yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. We still have like 7-8 months to go. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for checking out the show. If you guys could like on your way out, subscribe on your way out, and best of luck for UFC Vegas 92. We'll see you guys later.